The prospect canceled his call the morning of the demo. Not rescheduled, canceled. Decided he wasn't going to invest, didn't want to waste either of our time, and he was gone. Most closers see that and move on. Log it as a no-show, mark it red on the calendar, and move on to the next one. I called him back. 4 minutes later, he was back on Zoom. 90 minutes after that, he put $10,000 down on the call. What you're about to watch is the full breakdown of how that happened. The recovery call, the actual demo, every key moment in the entire sales call, paused and broken down. You're going to see how I got him back on the call, reset the frame, got into discovery, actually built the real gap, dropped price, handled objections, all the different tonality shifts, everything A through Z in terms of how this call actually turned into a $20,000 deal. If you've watched my free 12-hour course on the channel, everything you're going to see on this call is that exact system running live. This is a real call, a real prospect, even though he showed up as a fox emoji because his camera wasn't working. A real $10,000 put down on the call on a split PIF that was actually a $20,000 deal overall. I collected that $10K the exact same day that he canceled, about an hour and a half later. Let's get into it. Before I hit play, let me give you some context on what you're actually about to watch. This was a prospect who came in through paid ads for a done-for-you agency offer. He'd been in the space for about a year. He was making $8K a month in the restaurant niche with his agency, and he had dropped from $17K a month, and he felt stuck. He couldn't scale, and deep down, he knew that it was the niche and the vehicle that he was currently in that was the problem, but he was too scared to walk away from a year of work of building that. He canceled the demo the morning of. He decided the investment was not the right move. He didn't reschedule. He just straight up canceled. Called him back immediately, which you're going to see here, not just to pitch him, just to understand why. And that recovery call is the very first thing that you're going to see, and honestly, it's one of the most important parts of this entire breakdown because getting someone from, I've decided I'm not going to invest, to back onto a Zoom call in under 5 minutes is a skill that most sales reps never actually develop. From there, you're going to watch the full demo. This call had everything: budget objections, urgency objections, niche uncertainty, fear of actually committing. His camera didn't even work properly, so as you can see, I'm talking to a fox emoji the entire call. But didn't matter. He put down $10,000, which was half of the entire contract value. So it's actually a $20K deal, but he put down $10K that day about 90 minutes later after deciding he was going to cancel because he didn't want to invest a single dime. So here's what I want you to pay attention to. I'm not going to do anything fancy in this call. There's no pressure tactics. There's no tricks. It's the exact same framework that I broke down in my 12-hour course. It's already on this channel completely for free. From setting a frame to doing a deep discovery in terms of actually building a real gap and also building that ammunition that you need to actually use the CIVR objection handling framework to essentially close the deal. So just watch it all, watch how it all connects. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so quick context. This was the exact time of the demo. The prospect had just canceled the call, and I called him back immediately, not to re-pitch him, but to just get an idea of like why he even canceled the call in the first place and to try to pretty much re-engage the lead in general.
Hey, this is Clay over here with Joel Kaplan's team at Agency Lab. I was just giving you a call because I saw last minute that you canceled.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry about that, man.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. Was it just kind of a time conflict or was it something else? Just curious. There's no pressure either way. I was just calling to make sure.
Yeah, so I was like numbering and stuff, and I consider about my situation if it's best move for me to invest that kind of money and then get into the agency lab, and decided to not to at the moment.
No, I totally get it, and I'm just curious. Was it just kind of coming out of the numbers? Because even our call today, it wasn't like to have you jump on and pay us. It was really just to kind of talk about the program and see if it was a good decision for you.
I thought they just I didn't want to waste your time as well as my time because I just decided not to invest it at the moment. I'm not sure in the future, but then yeah, I think that's the reason.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. So is it really more just about kind of capital, like with money and finances then?
Yes.
And by the way, I appreciate you at least saying that because, I appreciate saving both of our time. But I guess if you have 5 minutes, I don't mind at least explain a little bit what we can do if it does just come down to cost and you want our help, because we are doing quite a bit here for the end of the month. Either way is cool. We can jump off the phone now. But if you are interested, I can kind of talk about how we can break things up and help you out with it if it does just come down to like financial cash flow and making it work in your budget.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. But then I can hop on the call right now.
We can do that, or we can even have a conversation over the phone. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see Zoom call and then what do you guys offer, and then how many coaching call you guys, like something like that. But one thing, I'm not sure if I want to move forward today. It could maybe like in a couple months. I'm not sure about this, but are you okay with this?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something in a few months, I mean, I'd be happy just to kind of break some things down. To be completely honest with you, even on the Zoom, it's really more just to kind of sit down and meet each other. It's not like we have like a whole pitch deck or anything. That's not really how we do things. But I was looking at some of your notes, and it looks like you've been in this space for about a year. you're at 17K a month, kind of drop back down to 8K, feel like right now maybe you're not in the right vehicle to scale. I guess if you don't mind giving me a little bit of context to see how we can help you out, that would definitely help me out too, just even if it isn't a few months, to kind of show you what the roadmap would look like.
You want me to hop on the call, and you want to hop on the call, right?
Either way is fine. I was just saying if it's something where you're looking to make a move in a few months, it might just be easier to have a quick phone conversation versus, going through things for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be cool.
Okay. So I guess, what are you kind of looking for help for? I know we had like the done for you thing going out where we can help you build everything out from the jump, but we also do have, systems where it's like we can help you give you all the resources where it's a lot easier budget-wise, but it is going to take more action from you, but in terms of like getting the foundation set and the resources that you're looking for, that we can definitely offer you that, even just with our flagship program outside of the done for you thing. But if you're interested in that, I'm happy to jump on a Zoom and kind of walk you through that in case it might be a good decision for you, because it can get the ball moving. But again, it's your decision, man. If you feel like it's too tight and your back's against the wall, I don't want to make you feel pressure or anything like that.
I mean, I think it's good to know
back in, reeling it back in.
The inside of the program.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I can hop on the Zoom call.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. So can you? I'm not sure if I can access the old
Let me
link.
That saves you. No, you should be able to. It's just you canceled it, which is, like puts an X on our. Oh, actually, never mind. We'll just start a new one because I just tried to get on it. It didn't work. Here, let me send you over a brand new
one.
one.
Now I'm sending over the Zoom link. So, real quick, I wanted you guys to just kind of hear the whole call. It's actually somewhat quick, but the main thing to understand is like when you're trying to recover a lead, right? Someone cancels the call. The last thing you want to do is try to get into repitch mode. Like, notice how I even opened the entire call was just like, I was immediately trying to disarm him. Right? 'Cause you're talking to a prospect who had just canceled the call. And this was also a very expensive offer. This was anywhere from like 18 to 25K. And for clarity, we were like an agency scaling offer. So for example, these are guys running a marketing agency, and he was just kind of in like our very low tier. I think it was like Agency Accelerator is what it was called at the time. It's been a minute since I've sold this offer, but he essentially had booked in for our done for you offer, which is very high ticket. And in that offer, the call structure, I was already kind of trying to fix what was kind of messed up from the setter, because obviously on the setting call, like they had already dropped price. So he was immediately kind of a little bit worried about that big price tag. So the very first thing I'm trying to do is just disarm him. Not make him feel like, hey, I'm not here to try to get your money. I'm here just to see how we can help, and even see if in the first place, if this is something that can potentially, help you get one foot in front of the other and fix the problems that you're running into. So notice like my tonality, I was immediately trying to disarm. Hey, look, man, there's no pressure. And even saying, hey, this is completely up to you. This is your decision. Like, I'm just here to support you. I'm just here to give you a little bit of context on how we can help. But I want to reach out since it's like you just canceled the call. And the last thing I want to do is make you feel pressure to kind of jump on where, we're going to give you all these different sales tactics, whatever the case is, right? So in order to, the number one thing I did that worked was to re-engage, to revive that lead. I was very leaning back. I was not leaning in. I was not trying to pressure him and, hey, you canceled my call. You wasted my time. It was like, hey, look, man, I totally get it. I'm just calling to reach out just to see if this is something, because obviously if you had booked the call, you had a conversation with our team, there must have been something you were trying to solve. So I'm just here to figure out, what that could be and potentially see if there's even any open ability to actually work together. So notice like the way that I structured this call is it was not to try to pitch. It was not to try to sell. I was really just trying to reel him back in, because I know as a closer, I'm an absolute savage on the call. If I can get them back on the Zoom, that's where I'm going to have the highest likelihood of actually closing, right? I'm going to be on Zoom and be face to face. I'm going to have a higher chance to actually influence a decision. And that's essentially what this call did very well. So without this 5 minutes and without me calling back immediately, which a lot of closers do this, if they see a cancel call, they're almost like, in a way, which is unfortunate in a high ticket sales space, but they're almost relieved. Like, oh, I get a free hour. I just never looked at it that way. I was like, if you're going to cancel my call, this is an hour of my time. I knew that based on my cash for book call and my metrics, I make money every single time I'm on a Zoom call, right? Over the course of X amount of Zoom calls per month. So in my mind, I'm like, this is my money. He's got my money. I want to make sure I'm getting back on the phone and at least trying to figure out how we can help in both sides of the perspective of like, obviously I want to get a sales call, I want to get a commission, but then the most important part is like, this guy had taken some time out to book a call about it done for you, about an offer that we were very confident in at the time, to actually help him scale his business and fix one of his biggest issues, which you can even notice I reopened the frame based on the setter notes. I was like, hey, it looks like you're at 17K, you dropped down to 8K, and right now maybe you're just in the wrong vehicle, you're in the wrong niche, right? You're servicing the wrong client, which is making it difficult for you to scale. So I was immediately reopening his pain. I was already reopening the notes that the setter had gotten to kind of revive it and get back into that conversation and just start the conversation again, which essentially is what a frame is about to be. You don't want to set the frame saying, hey, we're going to see if you're a good fit, and if you're a good fit for us, we'll make you an offer. That's bullshit. What you're trying to do is the whole point of a frame is to get their guard down, disarm the prospect, and get them to open up about their situation. What are they currently going through? Why they book a call in the first place? What are they actually looking for help with? So that way I can actually start to build a gap, just like I talked about in the course, and start to really build out a process to help him actually make a better decision. So from here, let's go ahead and shift over into the Zoom call, and then we'll actually jump right into like the discovery and kind of, go through the whole call from there. All right, so now back into the Zoom. We just got into the Zoom, getting him to actually get his camera on. Now this lead was interesting because he literally showed up as a Fox emoji. This is the one and only sales call I've ever had where I'm talking to his Fox emoji, but his camera just wasn't working, which again, most times I always tell my closers this when on the teams that I manage and that I lead. They're like, there's a few basic things that you want, right? You want to set your closer rules early. You want to make sure that they're going to be there for the full allotted time, at least 45 minutes to an hour. They're going to be stationary. They're going to be at a laptop with Wi-Fi. They're not going to be driving their car. They're not going to be in the bathroom. They're not going to be going on a walk. You want them to take a decision seriously, especially if you're selling something upwards of 20 grand. Like they need to be taking this seriously. They need to be at a Zoom call, sat down, stationary, ready to actually have a business conversation. But notice what I do right out the gate. By the way, guys, I'm going to put this at 1.5x speed, so it doesn't take too long to get through this, and we can kind of continue. I can give you guys my piece on certain things when we're setting the frame, when we're going through discovery. But the main thing you'll hear me do on this frame is I'm still trying to maintain a disarm. I want him to be able to get on this call comfortably. I don't want to just switch up immediately where it's like, hey, I'm just here to help you out, and then immediately I'm trying to set some frame where I'm like, hey, we need a decision at the end of the call and all these different things. I'm gonna breeze into my frame, breeze into my discovery, and start to open up the book on how we can actually help.
I know we're talking on the phone, kind of looking at maybe doing something in a few months, or maybe we can get something started earlier if it makes sense for you. But I guess just jumping in, give me a quick bird's eye view if you can, like on what kind of the main bottleneck that's going on. Because it looks like you already have an agent, but just feel like you can't scale it. And kind of what you're looking for from us for help to be able to do that and kind of what the goals are. And then that'll kind of allow me to figure out what would be the best decision for you in terms of, partnering up with us, whether it's now or in the future.
Right. Whether it's now or in the future. Notice right there is what I'm doing. I'm resetting the frame. Now that we're back on Zoom, I'm treating it just like any other sales call. Hey, what's up, man? As you can imagine, we talk to a lot of different agencies. Some guys are at different levels, running into different issues. So kind of give me a bird's eye view on you. Like, what's your situation? Open up the book for me. How can we help? Right. I know you also mentioned potentially getting help with us a few months down the line. So whether it's a few months down the line or whether it's now, just kind of give me a little bit of context on how we can help. Boom, I'm resetting the frame. I'm getting right into discovery.
That's so weird. Now it's like a cat. What in the world? It's like a fox now.
Oh, shit. Okay, but never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I was like, what the hell?
It's so weird. Your fox is talking. It's almost like you have here, let me show you. I'm just going to, look at this.
Like literally showing him that this is what I'm seeing. I'll be honest, guys. At this time in the call, I had no clue this was going to turn into a 10K down, 20K deal.
And then like when you talk, the fox,
That's weird.
mouth moves.
We can speed this up a little
But does it help though? So
That is so
you're not
crazy.
talking to black screen.
No, I guess it's a little better. I'll just, be the first time I'm having a business meeting with a little red.
I just changed. I don't know because the camera's not working. I don't know why it's black. Because this is the kind of old laptop, but I just play around. I've never used this one before. I just play around if it's working and stuff. But yeah.
No problem. I guess it's better than nothing. Let's since I do only have about 45 minutes until.
Yeah.
So also pause real quick. These are some small things that are important to understand. Like notice how obviously you want to be genuine, you want to be a human, but I'm not a really big guy in terms of I don't want to sit here and build rapport for the next 15 minutes, right? Like we've just had a conversation. He just canceled the call, and I also don't want to waste my time. So notice how I make a bit of a joke. I make him realize that I'm genuine, I'm a real person, but then immediately I'm like, cool. Well, look, man, I only got about 45 minutes. So let's go ahead and jump into it. What you're gonna find is sometimes sometimes closers will go on these tangents because they think building rapport is going to help them. But in reality, it doesn't really do anything because you want to build respect. You want to make sure that they respect you. They look at you as an authority. And that's why I'm immediately kind of getting right back into look, man, I got about 45 minutes. So let's how can we help? And again, as you can see, there's a bunch more calls here on the side. I can do a lot more of these videos, by the way, guys. I have hundreds of different sales calls recorded and even closing deals as well. But one of the biggest things you'll notice is this is probably one of the only deals I've ever had with a Fox emoji. So usually you want to make sure people actually have their camera on, stuff like that. But I think this is gonna be a fun one to kick off this series for my YouTube with because it's such an interesting lead. But let's get back into it.
So kind of, what are you looking for help with? I know currently you got the business going in the restaurant space. Based on the notes I was reading, it looks like you just feel like it's not scalable. So you're interested in done for you with the closer, which we can talk about as well in terms of helping you get started with that. But just kind of give me some context, jumping in on a bird's eye view of what's been going wrong and what the goals are with
resetting the frame again.
That'll kind of help you if you will.
I mean, it's hard to scale. I think it's hard to scale because the service we provide is too much involved in physically. So like production, photography, and videography, and social media management, all kind of stuff. So, and our targeting is a local-based restaurant, that high-end restaurant, but then there's not much pie to have. Either they already have marketing agency or someone who does their whatever social media, or they're not just looking for it. So it's a little hard, and also they have in margin, so it's also charge a lot of money too. It's hard to charge a lot of money. Been thinking to change my niche.
Yeah, I will say we usually wouldn't restaurants are a tough niche. I agree with you for all the reasons you just listed. It's just a difficult niche to scale because the best way to scale is picking a niche where they make good money per client. Where it's not like a few $100s per hurt. You know, I know restaurants can make really good money with their profit margins, et cetera, all the things you just explained. It makes it difficult for an agency to scale in that niche. But we can help you, I mean, choose a completely different niche and set things up for it to get you clients. Have you thought of like different niches, or is it kind of like the first time you've really like, man, like taken a step back and like, I gotta do something different?
Yeah, so there's two thoughts in my mind. So one is like push my agency, you know, run our B2B ads and, you know, getting more clients, and let's see how it goes. Or just change different niche, like such as the medical field, med spa, or dentist, or chiropractor, so like something like proven niche.
Right.
But I have a like solid foundation when it comes to restaurant niche. I have a good portfolio, good pictures, and good videos that I can present to my potential clients. But I've never ran any B2B ads, so I feel like there are huge chunk of pie that I don't even know. So that's why I'm trying to like kind of think or pivot or push, like something like that.
I guess I have a good question for you. Like, do you feel like, well, first let's do this. What outside of what niche, outside of anything, like what's your goal with the agency? Like, where do you want to? What is your ideal goal? Do you want to scale this to 7 figures? Like, what's the goal for you with this whole thing?
Yeah, of course. My goal is, as you know, my scale agency, at least 50K a month and potentially 100K a month, like 7-figure agency. But I feel like I'm not sure if I can hit the number with restaurant.
Well, there's your answer. You know, like, I think if you zoom out big enough and you're like, okay, I have something going here, but I don't feel like I'm going to be able to get it to 50K a month. I don't feel like I'm going to get to 100K a month. Then you're essentially wasting time, energy, and money by pursuing it for the next 6 months.
But here's the thing. So I've researched it. I have researched like different agency, like they're doing like some of them are doing like 100K a month or at least 50K a month. I just don't have that foundation, something like that. So part of me, I want to change and go to a different niche, but the part of me, I have the foundation that I've built very hard for a year that I want to try one more time, which is B2B ads and something like that. And if it doesn't work, and I'm going to change the niche, because I think that I haven't tried really fucking hard enough to get more clients. So I think there is like, I would kind of regret at the moment if I just switch the niche right now. So that's why I just canceled the call today.
Right. So what I'm hearing is like, you want to stick it out with the restaurant niche just to see if you can scale it first.
Correct.
I wonder if we can. I don't know a ton of agencies that are doing restaurants, but I know, let me see. Let me make a quick phone call, because there might be a possible opportunity here. And if it's not, then I would tell you, go try it. You know, and if it works, it works. You have all of our support there. But let me see first. I'm just gonna call my manager while you're right here and see if we can, because if we can help you set up ads for restaurants, you're gonna scale fast.
Because look, for this one,
hit past him real quick. Hey, do we work with restaurants? Like, if it's a restaurant niche, what have they done for you?
So a few things. Like, there's also going to be a few things in this sales call that I could have done better, right? For example, like with this style of offer, it's kind of like a done-for-you business in a box offer. We were selling to marketing agencies, so there was always a few different things. Like every marketing agency had to have the right niche, right? And for this guy, like he was at 7K a month. He had been falling back down. His goal was to get to 50 to 100 grand a month. But I knew that he was not going to be able to do that within the restaurant niche because of the results that we had. And at the time, I was selling for a company called Agency Lab. We had hundreds of results. We had over 150 students do over 100 grand a month. So we knew the niches that were actually profitable. We knew the niches that could actually do it. And I knew in the back of my mind that I had to get this guy to change his mindset from potentially trying to continue to grow what he's already invested a year into and a lot of time and energy into this niche and learning this niche and fulfilling for this niche. But I knew what got him there was not going to help him get to where he needed to go, which was 50 to 100 grand a month of this agency. He had to change the niche. He had to pivot. He had to do something completely different. So one of the harder parts about this call was I had to take someone who's already invested so much time into building a business that wasn't going to get them to where they want to go, and helping him kind of change his mindset around the fact that, like, just because you had built something to 7 to 17K a month does not mean that's going to be the exact same thing that's going to get you 100K a month, right? And you have to be able to pivot, and you have to be able to change. Notice I also like to usually start with like current situation, what we're currently doing. Like a few things I would have done a little bit better is I would have asked a little bit more about like, hey, how are you getting leads? You mentioned you never actually ran B2B ads. So if you're not running ads, what are you doing? Are you making content? Are you getting referrals? Are you reaching out? Are you doing cold outreach? Because there's really only 4 ways to get leads, right? You're either reaching out to people you don't know, reaching out to people you do know, you're running paid ads, you're making content. So like, how are you even generating leads for your business in the first place, and how is that actually going, right? Well, like, even if we were to stick with the restaurant niche, what's your actual problem? What is keeping you from scaling? The big bear about it was like, he had to change his niche, he had to pivot in order to actually go bigger, in order for things to work. But also at this time, this is actually, funny enough, the first month I ever sold this offer. So I was still kind of learning in terms of like, what niches can we actually do done for you deliverables with? And this is where I kind of used a little bit of a pattern interrupt to actually kind of call the manager and just double check, so that the prospect also knew that I had a manager above me that was also telling me the same thing that I was trying to tell him. Like, look, the industry and the niche that you're in is not going to work. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in the call, to give you guys some context.
Yeah. He's trying to figure out whether he should, because he's got a good thing going in restaurants, but he's stuck scaling, but he's never done B2B ads. But he's also got that like lingering thought, if he changes niches, will he be better off? But I was just curious real quick, like, do we even run, like, if we did do the done for you, like, where do you even work with restaurants? So I'm going to put Joe on speaker real quick. You're actually talking to Joe in the DMs.
Shout out to Joe Potion, by the way.
Okay, Joe, we're both here.
So Chase, like, it's like we've had people in our program that have gone into restaurant niche, okay? The problem is the sustainability. Some of the things I already mentioned to you, those are the things you have to definitely look into, right? Now, if we were to go back and let's say it wasn't the restaurant niche, remember when we early had that conversation in Agency Accelerator? I told you, ooh, that's a rough niche. Remember that? So here we are, right? Like fast forward, right? And it's kind of panning out that way. I would think that, yeah, you have experience, but don't think about the experience with the business. You can get that over time. Think of the experience that you have just with an agency at scale. The sales calls, all the stuff that you have put in place. I firmly believe if we make a pivot into a different niche, as you've not gone into restaurants and you would pick something else, we probably wouldn't be on this call today. You'd be farther along in terms of revenue and scaling than you are right now with restaurants. And that's the truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but then, like I said at the beginning, but part of me, like, I've never ran B2B ads, and I feel like there's some kind of opportunity that I don't even know.
Yeah, B2B ads for acquisition. Could you run ads? You could do anything you want. Could you stay in the restaurant niche? Obviously, you have options. Here's the thing that you have to keep in mind. Just as you had to take time to scale to the level that you're at right now, it took a lot of time. The difference is if you try to run agency acquisition ads for yourself, not only are you going to burn through time, but you're going to burn through money. You understand? So the advantage, it's an investment to buy back your time exchange. So then Chase, really all you have to do is just work on the sales portion of it. And obviously, the film unless you want to white label. But it's taking all those things off your plate and allowing you to focus on the thing that matters most. It's just acquisition of clients, just closing them. And if you want us to place the closer, I don't know if Clay's walk you through that. That's an opportunity too. But
we haven't even really gotten there. That's why I kind of made the call, because I was kind of telling the same thing. Like you're gonna be better off picking a different niche that's more proven. But I was just curious because I didn't know if we worked the restaurant, so I just made a quick call just to kind of even see if it could help. Because at first, at first he was gonna cancel the call because he was like, I'm gonna try to run my own B2B ads, and I made a quick phone call. I was like, well, here, let's just jump on and see if we can even help you out in the beginning. I already have the next hour booked off for you. And he was like, all right, why not? Let's jump on. And that's when I made the call. Because I was like, I'm not even really sure if we help you with restaurants because like your head is like cut still on restaurants. So it might not even be a good fit from the jump. But he said he was open to maybe exploring different niches. And that's kind of why I made the quick phone call.
Yeah, Chase, can I ask you an honest question? Is the goal more to just scale from a revenue standpoint and an agency standpoint, irregardless, or is it more I want to scale within the restaurant niche? Like, what's the goal for you?
I feel like, of course, the goal is to scale, like I said, like 100K a month and let's 50K a month.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have a good solid foundation that I built for a year. I feel like, I don't know, it's just hard to give up things.
Yeah, I mean, change is always it's always difficult for most people, changing things. But like I mentioned to you in DMs, and that was being transparent. It's like, look, you could blow $2,000 in agency acquisition ads, see if you can get anything. But here's what gets confusing is just because you run the ads and you get nothing doesn't mean we wouldn't, right? So it's like that. We have to go back, like we have to reach out to Brandon and see if it's even viable. But just in hindsight, it's like, but then we're just kind of wasting time and money.
That's what I said.
Yeah, because it's like, look, just because we've had agency owners before that came in the restaurant niche and they couldn't scale to 100 grand doesn't mean that you cannot. And I told you that, and I typed that to you. I said, but here's the deal. If you look at probability, you just look at data, we've not had one that not come off the ball yet. That's just the hard truth of it. Whereas if you look at realtors, I'm not recommending realtors, but we've got 7 or 8 agencies to 100 grand plus. You look at dental, more than a handful. You look at Cutterell, Gil Valerio, he's at $500,000. He joined us at 3K 2.5 years ago, right? So it's just, if you look at that hard data, I'm not saying you can't do it, but we've not seen it yet. And it wasn't because they weren't trying, it wasn't because they weren't executing. It's just, you're fighting margins. Average margin for a restaurant, I know you're doing first time and whatnot, but it's like 10%? I mean, unless they're selling alcohol, you can't even have a conversation with them because they're making no money. You know what I'm saying? So the sample size is just super small. The audience anyway. So those are things to consider. But I can get with Landon and kind of see if it's even an option. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then you have some options. But and again, I'm telling you, Chase, if you would have gone into a different niche and put in this much work and effort since you came to AA, you wouldn't be where you're. That's just the truth of the matter. Like we went in a mortgage, we did 50K in 2 weeks. Clay was in an agency, they went in dental, 100K in a month. Brand new though. They had a good offer. Yes, they had experience. Yeah, they had a team too. All that stuff. They didn't have a website. They didn't have social proof. That's the biggest thing. If you can sell against that, not having that, which you can, Chase, like brother, you're already there. We just need some tweaks. One of it is get your calendar booked out consistently. That's running paid ads. The other thing too is just fashioning an offer. If we do make a pivot, we can help you there. The other thing too is setting up the systems properly. And then not only that, but you're going to actually get support. And it's not going to be a way, brother. We had that conversation before. You're in the wrong room to begin with. You're beyond agency accelerator in terms of experience. And that, quite honestly, that might be one of the other reasons why you're stuck. Just being transparent. All right, I'll let you two have at it. But Chase, you guys do
okay, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, Joe.
Chase, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I appreciate it, Joe. I think we got it from here. We'll figure it out. No. Yeah, so I mean, like he said, we're kind of both on the same page. I think I understand what you're saying, man. Like it's scary because you've already put all this work in with restaurants, but it's also the same reason why you're still stuck. Like you mentioned, like on our first phone call, it's like, you're like, I just feel like I can't scale it because the profit margins are tight, and it's like, it's just a difficult niche to scale. Where it's like you still have learned the skills to run an agency. You can start a different niche. He mentioned like the dental thing that I did, which I didn't even talk to you about. But I worked with Amin Gaddy, who's a client of agency as well for about a year. We had a real estate agency, scaled that to 280K a month. We started a dental one with the same team and went 0 to 100 in 30 days with zero social proof because we could sell. We had no website, we had no client results, and we were still able to collect 10, 12, 15K up front from dentists. It's just a better niche because really all it boils down to is your offer and your sales, because you have the skills. And the beauty of what you're going to do is your offer is different already. Since you're doing photography, you're not doing like, oh, we'll run your Facebook ads to get your leads. Like you have a different offer, and different always beats better. Like even dentists, they could definitely take photographers. Any niche really, roofing. Like there's a lot of niches that you could go into, and we could help you choose one as well with Done For You, where you're going to scale way faster, way faster. But that's got to be your decision, man. Like I think, if we stick with restaurants today, we can't really do anything for you unless Joe gets back to me with Brandon's team. But they're going to tell you the same shit. They're going to tell you like, well, if we can do a different niche, he's going to be better off.
Right. Oh man.
All right, so right here, I'm going to pause. See if you guys have a little bit of context on how this call is going. So, for example, now you can kind of start to see his actual mindset change around the number one thing that we needed it to change around, which was changing the niche, making a pivot for his business to go bigger, right? Which is also the same reason why he wanted to cancel the call, because that was his biggest fear. His biggest fear was pivoting from the niche that he was currently in to actually get into a better niche, to a better vehicle to grow his business, right? And honestly, I never really actually called in the manager. This is actually one of the only calls I did, but bear in mind, this was a done for you offer. And I wanted to make sure that I was also like, I had conviction in telling him what I was telling him, because Joe even mentioned the dental offer that we had scaled. So I was closing on a few of these different marketing agency offers. So I knew the niches that could really scale. And, you know, before I even started closing for Joel and closing for this offer, I had helped a few different agencies scale, one to 280K and one to 100K in 30 days. So we already had a really good sales process. So I was very confident in terms of like selling to local businesses, selling B2B. So I was trying to explain to him that, like, you know, your niche is going to be the main issue. And like, that's the main thing I need to make sure I could change his mindset on before we even talk about goals, before what he needs from us, before anything else even really happens on this call. And that's why I kind of called in the manager to give even not just my perspective, not just the salesperson perspective, but even someone who's more so leadership in the company, to let him know, like, look, we've had a lot of results. We've had a lot of guys go past 100 grand a month, which is your goal. None of them did it in this niche. I mean, if you just choose to go done for you, and we talked to Brandon's team, who was actually one of the guys that helped with the done for you deliverables in this offer, like, they're going to tell you the same thing. Like, you could do it, but you're going to get better results by pivoting, going into a better niche, using the same skill sets, using the same offer that you're currently in, right? Because he actually had a good offer. He wasn't running the same offer as everybody else. He had a very unique offer with photography and still generating leads by helping people build a brand, things like that. He was just in the wrong boat. So you can see now that his mindset is finally starting to change. One thing I will say is I have a very authoritative selling style. Like, there's a lot of people in the high ticket space that are kind of like, oh, you should just like sit back and ask questions with like insanely good tonality, which I agree with to a certain standard. But there's also a time and a place where you have to be authoritative, where you have to lead, and sales is leadership. I knew that he needed to be led. He needed to be pushed a little bit, and I had to have some more of an authoritative approach, saying, hey, look, we know the results. We know how to get you to where you want to go. That's why you're on the call with us, and you have to be able to change your mindset. You have to be able to make this pivot in order for us to help you scale, right? So it's kind of like, help me help you, and that's why so far in this call, we've been a little bit more authoritative. We've actually been making more statements than I actually usually would have. I would have asked a few more questions around the current situation and what else he's tried. There's a few things now looking back at this call, about a year and a half, 2 years later, that I would have done better on this call. Obviously, you'll see an objection handling that shit comes up because I didn't prevent certain things in discovery. But just to give you a little bit of context, that's what we're doing right now in terms of, even with Joe pulling in the sales manager, we're trying to reshape his mindset around pivoting his business to a better ICP, a better client, in order to get to where he wants to go.
So, I mean, look, it's not my job to tell you what to do, but it is my job to at least help you make a good decision. If you ask me or anybody else what's team, they're going to tell you the same thing. Like, if your ideal goal is to make a 7-figure agency, then what does it matter what niche you're working with? You know what I'm saying? Like, you might as well go to a proven niche. Because he's right. If you try to go run B2B ads, have you ever ran B2B ads?
Oh, you asked me, have I done it? Have I done it? No, I haven't.
Successfully. So then you're going to be spending money on ads, not really sure if you're doing it the right way from the jump. And then if it doesn't work, it makes it even harder.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know the done for you, the model, and then just, what was it the other one? He was explaining the other one.
So it sounds like you've already been in Agency Accelerator, right?
Yeah, I've been Agency Accelerator.
So there's a few different things we can do. We can either...
I'm still in though, yeah.
So yeah, right now you have like the lowest tier. And I think Joel is right. You're at a spot now where like you've kind of outgrown it. You have more skills. You've done the work. At the very least, you should be in the flagship program. And the flagship program goes from like 8 coaching calls you're getting there to 28. You get 28 coaching calls a week. You still get the Facebook community flagship program, which is a higher tier network. One-on-one client success coach, you get way more support. The done for you comes with all of the flagship program, which, just to kind of break down what that even looks like, it's something
real quick to pause this. Now, a few things, again, if you've actually kind of listened through the process and kind of how we sell, there's a few things that you want to do in discovery, right? You want to find pain. You want to figure out what's their current situation. So for this guy, he was at 17K. He dropped down to 7K. Again, it's been a niche issue. He's been in the wrong boat. And then the next thing is that we're also looking at cost of inaction. We're looking at doubt. So like, as you can see, and one thing I would have done better in this call, bear in mind, this is a couple of years back. So like the sales process has improved. Like my sales process has improved significantly since this call, even though we were still ripping doing like 100, 150, 180K weeks. But for example, with this is, notice I'm taking more of a consultative, more of authoritative frame, because he needs to be led, right? Like I mentioned before, he needs to be led because he needs to make the decision to pivot to grow his business. So for example, like when we were creating doubt was, in order to even grow his business regardless, he was going to have to run B2B ads, which part of why he wanted to get to the done for you ads was because he's never actually ran ads before. He's never actually ran ads to get clients, which is why the done for you offer was the right offer for him, because we were actually going to do done for you, paid ads, lead generation, and we could potentially close on that offer. That was an interesting offer, which, full transparency, I'd no longer sell. But the offer, which we were actually going to be doing done for you ads, running the ads for them, was actually going to fulfill that doubt because he's never actually ran ads before. So even if he was going to stay in that niche of restaurants, but he's never actually scaled ads before, now he's going to start spending money on B2B ads without really fully understanding if that's even going to work in the first place, with also having the doubt in the back of his mind that full transparency, the restaurant niche is actually going to get him there. So what we're doing right now is like, we've obviously found a pain, right? He's obviously not where he wants to be. He's made it clear he wants to be a 7-figure agency. He wants to be at 100 grand a month, but he knows he's stuck. He's been stuck. He's also been in AA, which is the very like lowest tier accelerator program that we sold on this offer. So this is actually really more of an upsell call, if anything, but he was kind of opting in brand new through ads that we were running. So it was an upsell, but it wasn't like a direct upsell. He actually booked a call for the done for you offer. So I treated it like a discovery, but once I kind of realized that he had already been in AA from, Joe's conversation, things of that nature, I shifted the call a little bit to where it was like, now I wanted to coach him out of where he was. That's why I'm saying things like, look, man, you've already done the work. You've got it to 7-8 grand a month. You've got it up to 17K at one point. Either way, you need to upgrade. Right? Either way, you need to be in a bigger room to actually grow your business. But the doubt portion came from, if you've never ran B2B ads, if you've never actually ran the ads yourself, then how are you confident that you can even scale this in the restaurant niche if you never ran ads? So regardless, you're going to need the done for you offer, right? So at this point in the discovery process, and one thing I would have done a lot better here, there's a lot of things that I'm actually going to talk about, and I'll do more call reviews in the future on my own calls to show you how this is improved. But one thing I would have done a lot better on this call is I would have asked more questions. So instead of like kind of stating things where it's like, you already know this is going to be difficult, you don't even know if it's going to help, I would have asked the question where it's like, let me ask you this, man. If you've never even ran B2B ads before, if you know you're in the wrong niche, then how do you even know you can scale this offer in the first place if you've never done that? Right? I would have asked the question because that would have built more uncertainty in his mind that he can do this by himself. Again, creating more doubt that he can do this on his own, and he needs more help from us. He needs the done for you program. He needs the offer that we're selling in order to actually do this. Now, another context I want to put on this is, bear in mind, this is a very in-market offer. This is a done for you, a very high ticket offer in market to someone who is already very clear. If you're selling more of a biz op, or like if this is a business in a box offer to someone who's never started a business, or someone who hasn't started a business because they haven't done the time, or they're brand new to it, obviously there's going to be a big part of that discovery where you're also making sure that they're sold on the opportunity, because that's 80% of the sale, right? If he has never even ran a marketing agency and he was trying to start a marketing agency, that this call would have been very different, right? The context of the discovery would have been a lot different, which is why I don't believe in script selling. You have to be able to be genuine and be able to know what you're selling and be an actual expert at what you're selling and what you're doing, so you know how to actually gauge the call, you know how to run a discovery. With this guy, he'd already been running a marketing agency. He'd already scaled it. But his problem was he hasn't been able to get to where he wants to go because he didn't have the skill sets to grow it with marketing and sales, which is why he's in the done for you offer. But also he's in the wrong boat. He's just in the wrong opportunity altogether because he's not selling to the right prospect. So that's why I think, I kind of took the initiative to more so lead him and push him and consult him on the fact that, like, we already know what's going to happen if nothing changes, right? You're going to be stuck and able to grow. And then we obviously really pivoted his mindset around, okay, you're going to have to make a different change. But now I'm pushing into, like, what's the best fit for him? Is he going to go into the flagship, which is already an upgrade to what he's currently doing, where he's going to get more hands-on support to help him with these things? But then again, that's going to take longer. Or if is he going to go with the done for you side of things to go faster and put more money into it, which is obviously what you'll see that I really try to frame moving forward. Another few things that I would have done better here is, I think for this guy, he already knew that the urgency was there because of how much we developed kind of the doubt that he was going to be able to grow without us. But I would have asked more things around, like, well, if you were looking to get the done for you offer, what are some of the things that you need? What is the criteria that you're looking for? I would have asked that timeline question I went over in the course in terms of, hey, what's your timeline? I mean, if nothing changes, like, are you going to have to just kind of quit the agency thing or stay stuck? Like, what's really going to happen? Or when he said, hey, I want to get to 100 grand a month, I should have asked, do you want to get to 100 grand a month just because you've seen other people have done it and it's possible? Or like, what really changes for you? Like, why 100 grand a month in the first place, right? Is this something where, like, is this like a goal you've had for a long time? And then, like, what's your timeline on actually making decisions to help you get there, right? I would have went deeper on those certain things, but given for the context of the call, and I think the reason why it still worked, was I picked up very quickly that this was a prospect that needed to be led, that needed to be pushed. And I had a conviction in the offer that I was selling at the time that it's my job to help him make the right decision, which is why you just heard me say, look, it's your decision at the end of the day. It's just my job to help you make the right one. So let's keep moving.
You've already learned if you're in AA. There's 4 pillars that we focus on. Setting appointments, which is your offer. What's your best acquisition strategy to generate leads and get appointments? Closing appointments, which is everything sales. How to sell, how to close, right? Intro calls, demo calls, objection handling, how to ask questions, what questions to ask, draw a gap, understand how to pitch, the whole 9 yards. 3 is systems and operations. How do we run your business like a business? Track your metrics, track your clients' metrics, utilize software to automate and delegate tasks. And the last pillar is client success and fulfillment. How do we create a productized service that we can scale, right? You probably heard these 4 pillars before being in AA, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So what we're doing
also notice even while I'm pitching, and I would say I think I started pitch a bit early here, but during that pitch, notice how I'm keeping him in touch. Hey, you've probably heard of this before. Is this all making sense? Is this checking your boxes? Like, you're always kind of temp checking throughout your pitch to make sure that they're listening, that they're engaged, and you're not just pitching something. I don't even really like doing pitch decks. Like, notice we don't do a pitch deck. I just have the conversation about what the offer is.
Oh, are you there?
You're good.
And also, by the way, I know I don't want to come off like too like overwhelming. I'm just trying to kind of explain.
No, it's all good. Yeah.
Because I think, and I kind of got it from Joe's tone too, knowing that you're an AA now, I didn't know that before, you're kind of keeping yourself stuck. Right now, like you're your main bottleneck. If you have the skills, I think it's just your fear of jumping niches. That's the number one bottleneck right now, just based on what I've heard from both what Joe was saying and, what you told me so far today. Because I think what you got to do is just kind of zoom out and think to yourself, is my ideal goal to scale to 100K in restaurants or just scale to 100K in general?
Right here, I'm keeping what's the ideal goal. It's not about whether you're changing niches. It's not about all the little things and the details in between. It's like, your goal is to get to 100 grand a month. Is it to get 100 grand a month in restaurants or is it to get to 100 grand a month in general, right? Because the real goal is that he wants to get to 100 grand a month, right? And always remember, whatever you're selling, it's always going to come down to like, what's their actual why? It's not, if someone wants to make 100 grand a month, obviously they want to do it ethically, but it's not going to matter if they're servicing restaurants, if they're servicing roofers, if they're servicing dentists. At the end of the day, their main goal is to get to 100 grand a month. And that's what I'm keeping at the top of priority in order to actually sell him the offer that we obviously have.
Right. In general. And if you have
that tie down.
Let me ask you, since we're having a super honest conversation, like what do you have working capital wise? Because if I know what your like budget is, I can tell you what's going to be the best route to faster success.
Yeah. So now I'm making 8K a month. So I have a photographer, employee and stuff. They're part-time. So I'm taking about 6K a month right now.
Okay. So, and that's consistent. And that's pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's consistent.
And then in terms of like, do you have any liquid like savings and stuff like that? Or is it just kind of like, that's what you're getting cash flow?
I'm getting cash flow. Yeah.
Do you have savings like outside of that?
Yeah, I have savings.
And how much like are we working with there in terms of like budget for like something to invest into a business?
Like something that I can invest, like it's like 5K.
Okay, so you got 5K on the side and 8K coming in every month. There's two different things that we can do here. So, and I know I'm pretty sure the guy that you talked to before already kind of dropped what the price would look like, but the done for you with the closer can get pretty expensive, right? I might be able to work since you're already a client, work some things and get this down. But if you did the done for you with the closer, that's usually coming in around 18K. If that's out of reach, this is another option you can do. And I'm gonna be honest, Chase, this is kind of a different call. Normally we go through everything and talk about investment at the end, but I think with this call, it's just a little different with your situation. I just want to be super transparent because it's not my job to put you out in the street, right?
Right.
If that's out
for transparency, man.
Dude, 100%. That's what we're here for.
Also, real quick, just to pause on this. This is something that a lot of closers don't actually do. Now, for this specific offer, we had different things, right? Like everything I did was very custom. Notice how even the frames that we set are always very custom. It's always personalized around the prospect because you want to take that consultant, that authoritative frame. Like the way that I sell has always been very authoritative because I know what's best for you. You're on the call because you need my help. So if you're going through a call and you're trying to like be so ditzy-datsy or dance around the price and things that's like when we're selling a 20K plus, 18K plus offer, usually there's going to be some sort of price drop before this demo call. So they already are aware that it's going to be a big investment. What I'm doing here is before I actually advise or consult him into a way that's going to give them the result that they're looking for, I'm already doing a bit of an open wallet check, right? Notice I'm not saying, hey, how much do you got? It's like, hey, what do you actually have available in terms of cash flow, in terms of savings? Like, what does your actual capital and resources look like in terms of making a decision? Because I can point you in the right direction from there. And then we're piecing together and we're creating an option that's going to fit within his budget, that's going to get him to his goals, and that's what's going to seal the deal towards the end. Now, bear in mind, one thing that he's doing is even though I'm being extremely authoritative and almost sometimes pushy it feels, he appreciates that I'm being transparent, right? Because it shows that I have conviction that I care about his results. So notice how you can get away. You're supposed to be asking hard questions. You're supposed to be having hard conversations because that's what's going to actually get you to get the real trust from them to make a big commitment and actually trust your judgment in terms of what's the best, pathway to go. And a lot of times, of course, it's going to be going the done for you route, making me more commissions, but also putting them in the right room for success.
So the other thing that we can do is we can set up all of your ads, right? Because I think if you haven't done B2B ads, your best shot at scaling quickly, because it's going to be an investment either way, your best shot at scaling quickly is going to be at least having us set up your offer, your niche, and your ads, because you're going to get qualified appointments very consistently. How confident are you with your sales ability?
Sales ability.
Right. Notice how I'm building out an offer right now.
Like if I do 0 to 10, I'll say like 4.
Okay. So here's what I would.
But I learned very quickly.
Right. Well, this is what happens. So with the flagship program, for example, there's 6 to 8 calls. There's 28 calls a week, and it's all ran by 7-figure agencies, right? So anybody who's coaching at Agency Lab, they've earned the right to coach there because they're currently running a 7-figure business. That's why they're coaches. There's 6 to 8 calls, all based on sales coaching. How to do intro calls, how to do demo calls, what questions to ask, how to build a gap, the whole 9 yards, and how to close. There's another 6 to 8 calls on systems and operations, another 6 to 8 calls on client success and fulfillment. And not just B2C ads and lead gen, but like every service you can pretty much think of, we have calls for. There's tech support, there's mindset stuff in there. Anything pretty much that you need in terms of support for building out on the back end, we have for you. Look at Agency Lab's coaching calls as you have a board of executives for your business without giving up any equity, right? Mm-hmm. So if you feel like you're a fast learner, given your budget, you have 8K coming in, and I'm willing to help you split things up to make this work. But if we did the done for you ads where you start closing, you're going to get a very consistent lead flow of like qualified appointments coming in. Now it'd be your job to close some deals. You get a full year of Agency Lab support. Now that's ending March, usually it's 6 months, but for March, we're giving it for 12 months. The thing that we've had some clients do is you have two choices, right? You could join, I think, the flagship program regardless. It's time for an upgrade. You've outgrown your AA. You've outgrown Agency Accelerator. Joe made that clear with his tone. But with the flagship program, you could either do that, but it's still going to take time because you're going to get the resources and the coaches, but it's going to be your decision to change niches, change offers, and that can take some time to even figure out what that looks like. With the done for you, we can set up the ads for 15K. I can sometimes get that down. I might be able to get that down a little bit. I'm sure I can if I pull some strings, but that's normally 15K. And that's where we're going to pretty much choose your niche for you. And we'll walk you through. We're not going to choose a niche that you like absolutely don't want to work with, but we'll choose a proven niche that we've already scaled before, give you an offer that's going to work and it's going to sell, and we're going to get you those qualified appointments. So those leads will start coming in, and you'll have 30 days of a build out regardless. So within those 30 days, if I'm you, I'm going to all the sales coaching calls and getting really good at sales, just learning and being fly on the wall, right? You close a few deals, and you're going to want to be pitching high, like 5K, 6K, 8K LTV. Even if you have to negotiate and get people split payments in, always go the revenue route in the beginning, right? But as you start closing deals, we can always give you a closer within time because you're already a client, right? So the closer, you may not have to start out with the closer right away, but as you start gaining revenue and you're hitting more like 15, 20K a month, then it might be a good time to like, hey, let's bring in a closer, have him start closing deals at a rapid rate. I can scale ad spend and I can go work on my fulfillment. Are you following me?
Yeah.
So if I'm you and you've been honest with me, so like I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes, I would have our team help you with the niche and the offer because you're going to get a sped up process. Otherwise it could be another 6 months and you're still trying to figure it out what's going on. Kind of how Joe was framing it, where if you have our team do it, you're going to get sales calls and opportunities. If you close a few of them, you're going to make more money off that already, bunch of support. And then it's like maybe in 60 days you place a closer, and that's when you really start to scale where you're hitting those 50, 60K a month. But it's going to happen quicker with the done for you. That's the best. The done for you is essentially you're paying for speed, because the done with you, you're going to get the resources, but it's going to be a lot up to you. And I think with what I've heard from you and just kind of like with a little bit of the fear that you have, it might be better to just get that support from the jump. So, you know, okay, this is going to be handled by by a 5-star team. You know, we've done it 118 times, you know what I'm saying? So with your budget, now you said you got 8K coming in. What we could probably do is I could probably make a call and see if I could split that up. But what that would look like is we can maybe get you started with like, I don't know, like 7.5, like 50-50. That would get you the full build out. And then it'd be 7.5 month 2 for the ads management, but you get a full month of Agency Labs flagship program. So you get that upgrade regardless. And that's just my 2 cents on it. It's your decision. And we can talk about if it would just be the Agency Lab flagship, what we can do for you there. But I guess like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for explaining first.
Yeah, of course, man.
So
Also notice how when I'm dropping price and I'm framing the price and I'm framing the investment, I'm literally walking him through what he should be doing after investment. So he's not even thinking about like, should I do this or not? He's already thinking through, I make the investment. These are the things that I'm doing to grow my business and in turn get the result that I want.
Okay.
Does that all make sense to kind of package it up?
Yeah, so it's basically like more support and buying time, speed up the scale very quickly than just Agency Lab flag program.
Exactly. You're buying down your time debt.
Right.
Right.
And
24 hours every day. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, good. So at the same time, I can learn those skills that after done for your program, so that I can run my agency. So not like fully depend on you guys.
Exactly. So what I always tell you too is like when you're coming into the done for you have like weekly coaching calls with this team. Just be a sponge, because if you can learn how to run the B2B ads, the faster you can bring it in house and have your own media buyer run your B2B ads, the more money you're gonna make, right? So like 100%, you're gonna get an even faster rate at learning, because instead of like doing everything yourself and failing, you're working alongside like literally the best team in the business at B2B ads. There's a lot of 7-figure agencies that use Brandon. Brandon runs ads for a lot of our agencies. He's just a guy. He's done it for so long. So you'll pretty much have that guy in your corner from the jump. And if you learn from him, you go to those weekly coaching calls, and you're probably going to take tidbits like, I think I can do this on my own and bring it in-house. So you don't have to pay. You can just start, everything's going to come from your own business.
What's the quickest way I can scale to 100K a month, and while I can still manage it and get the support? Of course, it's done for you, but then, yeah.
So get in with what, like, if you're being completely honest with me, like with your budget, I think right now, since we can't, unless you have access to capital elsewhere, because the fastest way would, of course, be to get the whole thing with the closer, right? But since we don't
How much is it cost?
What's that?
How much is cost?
The lowest, I mean, usually it's 22. I might be able to get that to 20, and we can split things up. Like we could do 10 and 10, and that'd be me sticking my neck out. Like I'd have to give a call to probably Joel himself to see if I could do that, which I'm willing to do for you. Cause, hearing your story, it's like, we want to help you, because I know exactly kind of the feeling that you're in. But that would be like 20K total. It'd be split up. If we split it up, it'd be 10K now, 10K in 30 days. And that'd be the whole process with the closer. That would be fast. You'd scale fast with that, because we're going to.
Okay. And am I able to get a learning curve? Because because the whole reason I want to do this is because I want to acquire skills, sales and marketing, leadership, and team building stuff. But am I able to learn those stuff? I thought like since you guys do completely done for you.
Yeah, the done for you, you're still a part of it. Like we're doing that thing. You get those weekly coaching calls. You get not just with Agency Lab flagship, with our done for you team.
Notice how right here too, as I'm dropping price and we're kind of building out an actual offer for him, I'm handling objections the whole time. He's asking about leadership. What's the fastest way I can get there? How do I actually manage this? How do I learn how to do these things? And I'm walking him through like what best practices are. Like as we're doing this build out, as we're doing these different things, you should be a sponge on the wall. You should be learning. You should be trying to understand how this whole process works. You're just pretty much paying down your debt. You're paying down your time debt in order to learn those skills that you need to do and acquire those skills to be able to grow your business in-house by yourself. So I'm pretty much handling objections and preventing these things from being a concern going into the possible juicy deal that we can get him by calling the actual CEO himself, which is another tactic that I'll walk you guys through in a second.
And you have a one-on-one Discord with his team.
Okay.
And if you have the closer with you, you're learning leadership, managing, and sales all at the same time. You're learning
to speed this up a little bit.
The closer is yours. That's your
program? How long?
So you would have the done for you team for 60 days, 23K per month to his team. But that's what I was telling you, be a fly on the wall, be a sponge. Because if you can bring the top tier guy, but if your closer's, closing 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, if I'm you, I'm not changing nothing. Now you have like leverage and like honestly just more capital to kind of breathe and figure out, okay, let's solve this one problem at a time. Let's do this to increase profit. Let's do this to increase profit. Because even with this team, like you think about it, if you're running a 60K a month agency and you're paying Brandon 3K a month and you're running even like in the beginning 4,500 a month in that, in total.
Yeah. And I think his sales and marketing skills is really important for me. I think it's time to invest in something, not like staying in an AA program.
It's time for you to get out of there, man. You've grown out of it.
Yeah.
Notice how through this like way of being more consultative and being more authoritative with this other prospect, he's finally getting around to the fact that, dude, you're right. I've been stuck here for this long. I'm in Accelerator. I'm not even in their flagship. I'm not even in the Done For You program. And I need to learn these skill sets to get to where I want to go. So notice how like after really going through and really challenging him on these certain things, like 58 minutes in, when literally less than an hour ago or about an hour and 10 minutes ago, he had just canceled the call. That's what you can do when you're able to really get an idea of like where they're currently at, what their goals are, what's been stuck, what's been holding them back, and also what is the main things that they need to learn, and what is the main things that we need to build out in their pretty much perspective of like, I can't do this alone and I need to make a change, or I've had enough. I need to make a change. That's what we've been doing throughout the entire call. So that way, by the time we're getting to the investment, it's more like a conversation. Notice how this feels like an objection. It doesn't really feel like he's giving objections. He's asking questions around the investment and what happens after he makes the investment. So at this point, I already know that I got him. And for any objections that come up, which are going to come up, I already know I have the ammunition to actually handle those.
I don't normally like sell like this. Like I don't normally, these conversations are usually a lot less tense, but I think in your situation, it's time for you to grow. Like
bringing it back to him, bringing it back to specifics. I care about
you're too high level for AA. AA is usually for guys
too
that
high
just
level.
barely
We're labeling him here.
That's why it's so cheap. We're like, now you're jumping into a room with the top dogs.
Labeling. Now you're jumping into a room with top dogs. You're labeling them with the exact identity that they want to be. That's another thing. Notice how like I've been labeling him with the identity of what he wants to be. I've been labeling him with the identity and being in the same room as the guys who are doing 7 figures a month, or 7 figures. So, 100 grand a month, which is what his goal was, right? So when you're able to label someone with the identity that where they want to be, they're going to start making decisions with that identity. They're going to be making decisions based on where they want to be and what person they are when they make that decision versus where they are now, where they have all these limiting beliefs and things like that.
So let me clarify. Let me organize the conversation today so that I can make a fast decision. So Done For You program, total cost about, you said 22, but then you can bring it down to 20, but I'm not sure.
But I want to let you know right now, Joel's pushing for a March goal. So there's a very high chance that I can get that for you. Because right now we're trying to close a lot of clients in March with the offer. He just got this goal for the month. So there's a very good chance if I call him, he's going to allow me to do that. But I'd want you to keep that on the down low when you get in.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
A lot of other guys, 22 up front.
And Done For You program is 90 days, right?
60 days total. And then if you want, you can continue for as long as you want, right? Like if you're 60 days in,
okay.
I think 30, 40, then it'd just be 3K per month after the first 60 days for his team to continue to manage the ads.
So 60 days. And then if I move forward, I can simply pay 2 payments. And then is there any additional cost like ad spend or something?
So the ads, we can start them as low as $50 a day, which is roughly $1,500 a month. You can
do some things and speed some of this up.
5K to 10 front, get revenue because we don't want to underpay the ad spend, which you.
But since I don't have the skill set, the fulfillment skill set, like I will have to have a support with the customer fulfillment, the delivering the service, the result.
My bad. I thought you said something else. So yeah, if you were to invest into a white label, that would be another separate cost. But again, that would be after a client's closed. So it's like
this is just more logistical things.
That's kind of funny. I've been staring at like this red fox. That's all.
I'm sorry for the camera. Yeah.
I know. I'm starting to think maybe this is what this guy looks like. He's kidding. But is everything making sense? Because I do want to see if I can get you a custom deal to help you out cash flow wise. You asked me what the fastest way to 7 figures is. This is. Let me see if I can get you a discount to split some things up to make it a little bit easier for you. But before I do make a call, I just want to make sure there's no other questions and we feel good about everything.
I'm getting my tie down before I do the negotiation.
I will have to think a little bit. Just can you give me some time?
This is why I do the tie down, right? So I'm doing the tie down before I get the negotiation, before I do a price drop, before I get him a juicy deal. Because I want to make sure that he's actually certain about what he's getting, price aside. So when I actually present the juicy deal, we can actually close him. And at this point, I'm too deep in. Right now, I'm like a shark in the water where I'm smelling blood. Like I'm not getting off this call now, right? So now here come the objections. I need to think about it, and this is where CIVR starts. This is where I'm going to start to clarify objections, isolate on certain things, validate them, and reframe them, and continue to coach and push them with conviction that I know that we can help.
5 minutes.
Dude, let me give you some privacy. I'll shut my camera off. I'll shut my mute off so you don't have to hear me blabber any
longer.
Oh,
yeah. That's good. Thanks.
Yeah, man, take your time. There's no rush. And I'll just wait for you to say Clay, and then I'll jump back on, okay?
This is another little tactic that I used to use. Hey, man, I just need a few minutes. Hey, no worries. I'll go ahead and put my camera off, my mute off. I'll be right here. Take a minute, take a deep breath, go get a sip of water. I'll be right here. Right? Instead of booking a follow-up call, I'm staying right there on the call. I'm not getting off. Like I'm still applying pressure in the right positive way where it's like, hey, if you need a few minutes to breathe, go ahead. I'll be right here. Shut the mic off, shut the camera off. Then he comes back. We'll see.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yep, I'll be right here though.
All right, so when you're actually going and creating a juicy deal, so for example, one of the things that you can do as a sales rep, and this is some soft, this is like a negotiation, like down, so if you will. When someone's like inches from the goal line, and you just need a little bit of external urgency, like if you can just create them some sort of juicy deal, whatever the case is, and your offer owner of course allows it. What I used to do is like, if I know, like for example, this one was like, I knew that we were allowed to split payments for like 3 payments, but I was like, okay, if I can get this down to 20 and I can split it up by 2, because I know he's got about 12K that he could invest, but I want to give him a little bit of space for ad spend, just little things like that. I turn the camera off, I mute my mic, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go give the CEO a call. What I'm actually doing at that point is I'm pulling up the contract, I'm getting the investment ready, because I already know that I have the green light to do this, but it's that external urgency of saying, hey, I'm gonna actually step out of my way, I'm gonna stick my neck out for you, I'm gonna give the CEO a call to actually figure out if we can create something special for you, right? That's gonna build a lot of external urgency, because when you come back and you're like, hey, Joel himself, or hey, the CEO himself gave me the green light to do this, now on top of, they're already so close to making that investment, they're already so close to that decision. By the time you do that, they're like, all right, man, like I had this like great deal that's right on the line, I'm right there, and you just kind of coaching them there, and you're just like, you're bringing them over the gap. You're like, let's just come with me, I got you, and it usually seals the deal.
Man, okay, this is hard. But then I have to invest money to make money.
Yeah, man, you got to be television on 100K a month. Everybody that's hit 100K a month started at 0. They've all had to make an investment, man. Like it's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be, right? Like growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. So I get it.
Yeah. So let's move forward. I'm paying whatever the today.
I'll get you. You're all set up with the onboarding tool here. So let me drop this in the chat. So this will be the split. Just double verify for me before you do pay that says 10 and not 20. I did split it up.
There's the 10K payment link.
Oops. Actually, that's the wrong one. Excuse me. Let me send you a different one. Ignore that one. That one was
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Stay composed, dear young fellow.
So it'll be 10 today and 10 at 30. And then we're going to get the whole onboarding started.
Okay.
The second one that's right.
Which one should I go?
Second one here. Ignore the first one. Sorry about that. Here, I'll just delete that one. There we go. That one should be correct.
Okay. So for the coaching call, am I able to get a call? Am I able to hop on the call with Joel or Sergio?
Onboarding. He's going to jump. Oh, okay. Do you have your bank's number? Have you gotten a text from your bank? A lot of times this is your bank holding it because they don't know what you're spending it on since it's a bigger amount.
This is another really good thing. A lot of closers fold when the card declines, whatever the case is. When a card declines, your job at that point is problem solution. You've already done the hard work. Do not let them get off the call to go to their bank, or get off the call to call their bank. Have them call their bank on the call with you and walk them through it. Hey, you can go ahead and call your bank now, and you can even let them know that the merchant's on the other side in case you need any information. I'll be right here for you. On top of that, I'll even walk them through what to say. I'll be like, okay, all right, hit 0 or hit 8, whatever the number is, to actually go to the customer service line. Yeah, let them know that you're actually on a call right now. You're looking to make an investment for, for example, in this case, it was Agency Lab. And you can also let them know that the merchant's on the other side of the phone, just in case they have any questions. Let them know from our side it said that the bank just defined it as fraud, and they just have to bypass it through. Have you gotten a text yet? And you can notice I do this here to make sure that we secure the payment on the call.
Okay, just give me a second, please.
Because it's repeated attempts, which means usually like this has happened to me before too, when I'm trying to get something like too often.
I think the amount is a little big, so I think that's why.
Yeah, just try to reach out to your bank. Give them a call real quick. Usually we can get this handled. This has happened a lot of times.
It's completely normal.
And then I'm here if you need me, okay?
Hello, Clay?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Did it went through? Did it go through?
It did not yet. Did it give you like a check mark? I'm assuming they're probably asking you if it was you making the payment. That's usually how it goes with those type of things. That same invoice link should still be live, and I'll see it on my side if it comes through.
Wait, did it went through right now?
Did it go through, it said?
Did it go through or no?
No, not yet. I'm watching the channel.
No, staying on there. I'm waiting until I see that thing come through.
Okay, it went through that time.
Did it went through?
All right, boom.
Did it go through?
Yep, it did.
And that's how it's done. Okay, so to recap, there's a few things I want you to take from that call, even though it wasn't the most perfect structured call in the world. Lesson number 1 is the recovery call. When someone no-shows or someone cancels on your calendar, most sales reps just that's a canceled call, they move on, they log it as a no-show, and they forget about it. That prospect was gone. They canceled. Initially, that was someone that canceled. I could have moved it to the no-show pipeline, and nothing would have came out of that. But since I grabbed my phone, I called them immediately, and I wanted to know why they canceled in the first place, that prospect went from a dead lead who just decided to cancel or no-show into a $20K deal for the company and a $10K cash collected, which resulted in a decent, $1,000 commission for me just within that, 90-minute session. So being able to be on your speed to lead and call those leads that cancel isn't necessarily about being aggressive. It's about still catching them when they're still in that window of having the ability to actually close and still having that intent to actually move forward or solve a problem that they even booked a call in for in the first place. Lesson number 2 is everything that I needed to even handle that objection or take the authority to really consult and coach that prospect to a decision was found through discovery, found through the first 4 minutes, found through actually probing on the setter's notes, found through actually confronting Chase on what was actually the main bottleneck for his business, which was he had to pivot his industry, he had to pivot his niche in order to actually go up, and he was missing the skills. He was missing the skills to run B2B ads. He was missing the sales skills in terms of where the done-for-you offer that we had with done-for-you ads, done-for-you niche selection, and obviously helping them with a sales team made sense. And since I was able to figure that out in discovery and also understand that he was at 17K at one point, dropped down to 7K and wanted to get up to 100 grand a month, I had that gap that was already established, and I was just able to probe, ask questions and consult him to like ultimately widen that gap to where it went from like canceling a call to like it wasn't like there was no way that he couldn't move forward, whether that was a flagship upsell or whether I was actually going with the full done for you, which obviously if you're watching to this far, you've seen that that's what happened, right? We ended up getting him on the done for you offer. And lesson number 3 is just staying calm and staying stoic when things don't really go your way, right? For example, like from the jump, he canceled the call. Then the camera didn't work. I was talking to like a Fox emoji. I could have just kind of written that off that call like really soon or really early in where I was like, this guy doesn't take this seriously, but I still stuck with it. And also like even all the way towards the end, the card got declined by the bank, and actually sitting through that, being stoic, being unfazed, acting like this is just another day in the job, because to tell you the truth, it was. Like that month I did over 180K in cash collected, and it was like one of the first months I ever even closed on that offer. So if I had tensed up during those moments, then that's another way that I could have ultimately lost that deal. That's the full breakdown. Everything you just watched, the recovery, the discovery, handling the objections in real time, and ultimately getting the deal to close at the end of the call, using the exact same sales process, framework, and system that I've used for over 4 years in the high ticket sales space, and the exact same system that I laid out completely for free in my free course on this channel. It's 12 hours long, and if you haven't watched that yet, that's the best place to start. It covers every framework you just saw running in real time. It covers which offers you should even be looking to get into, so you can have the ability to close on a high ticket offer like that with warm leads, where to be honest with you, it wasn't very difficult to close those prospects. So if you want to get into high ticket sales, you want to know what offers you should be selecting, and you also want to know more about the frameworks and the process and the objection handling that we actually use to close deals and make the money that we make, link is on the screen right now. Go watch it. And if you've watched this and you're sitting there thinking, okay, I get the system, but I want to actually be in the room on the right offer, getting coached on my specific calls, that's what we do at Direct Deposit. We get you placed on a vetted remote closing role within 7 days, not after you finished a 60-day course or done 21 mock calls with random people. Day 1, you're working towards your first placement to actually be on the right offer where you can earn a real income online. All coaching is built around that specific offer that you're actually selling, so you can actually get real world experience and real world results. It's not just some generic framework. I literally give that out completely for free. It's on your actual sales calls. Link is in the description. You can fill out the application below and we'll take it from there. Now go watch the free course if you haven't yet. You'll catch some things in there that you didn't know if you haven't watched it yet. I'll see you guys on the next one. We're gonna be posting 2 videos a week. I'm gonna continue trying to give you guys as much value as possible in the space, since I know there's not a ton of real stuff out there. Let's get it. Peace.